Dan.
Okay, let's bring in Birchelle Edmé right now as we look at the big map tonight. We've been following closely here. This is according to the latest Fox News projections. The former vice president ahead 133-115. But Birchelle, as Fanchon just mentioned, there are a number of states where the president holds a lead right now in battleground states like Florida, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania as well, though Pennsylvania still has not counted as much of the vote as these other three states that you just highlighted in yellow.
Michigan as well. Looks like he's ahead there.
He's ahead in Michigan and Wisconsin.
These were all states that analysts had talked about. This is where the race lies. Being able to claim any of these could mean that path to 270. So we highlighted some of the states that we've been talking about. So Florida has 29 electoral college votes. 2016, the president was able to take it with 48% of the vote. But previously in 2012, we saw President Obama take it with Biden on that ticket. So you wonder, does any of that still carry over for the VP as he now makes the race for the White House? Another area that we're looking at too, North Carolina, not only competitive for the presidential race, but also for the Senate race there and the governor. They already have a divided government in North Carolina. So you're watching to see what that change might look like. And then we mentioned Ohio. That's 18 electoral college votes. And they've been talking about throughout the day, trying to make sure they give us an idea of all of the votes as they're coming in. But three cities that you're going to watch is Cincinnati, Columbus, and of course Cleveland, to see what happens there, because they could shift things. So could the suburbs around there too. I'm going to highlight Pennsylvania here because for many people, the path to 270 does include Pennsylvania, specifically for the president. That is somewhere he has to win to remain in the White House. That's 29 electoral college votes there. There's been a little bit of debate about whether or not their policies should stay in place. 3 days is how long Pennsylvania has here to count up some of their votes. And the president has already said that may be something he will challenge in court.
Well, we'll watch to see. Not just count up those votes, but absentee ballots can still arrive if postmarked today by election day. They can arrive within the next 3 days. So we'll see how that plays out. We've also got a map here of Indiana, of the state of Indiana, county by county, how things went tonight. And you can see a number of counties there in red, a number of counties that still have not completed their count. You see Marion County there in light blue. But the president has held an advantage tonight in the state of Indiana, as Mike and Jennifer mentioned, that exceeds, in fact, his margin of victory in 2016. We haven't counted all the votes in Marion County yet, but at the moment, the president outpacing his results here in the Hoosier State from 4 years ago.
And it looks like a lot of people were not expecting it to outpace at that rate. So those are very interesting statistics. And actually, it's going to be interesting to see how that breaks out when we finally get the numbers for the 5th district as we continue to look at those numbers as they're being counted. And speaking of counting the vote, our Kelly Rinke has been in Hamilton County where the vote is being counted. They shut down the fairgrounds earlier this evening. So Kelly, what are you hearing? Anything there tonight at this hour?
Yeah, Fanchon, well, actually, the final election results of the evening are now in, but it doesn't include all of the votes for Hamilton County. Actually, they still need to count 30,000 mail-in ballots. They weren't able to get to those today, and those will not be counted until tomorrow. They counted about 15,000, but they still have about 30,000 left to go. Again, that District 5 race, that is something we are looking at very closely. That was a very heated, a very competitive campaign. As of right now, is what it stands here in Hamilton County. Victoria Sparks has a 14% lead ahead of her opponent, Christina Hale. They are separated by about 24,000 votes. All the machines are included in these totals. Those include the early in-person votes and also the ballots that were casted today. But again, those mail-in ballots still need to be counted. Take a look at some video that we took earlier today if we do have that available. Basically, these workers, extra workers, were hired to count some of these ballots. They received about 45,000 in all. That's way more than what they saw in 2016. They received less than 12,000 mail-in ballots that general election. There was a delay this morning because election officials struggled to get a list of the voters' names, so that put them back several hours. The public viewing party that we were at earlier this evening, that was shut down because they said, you know, we got all of the votes for this evening. We're just going to wait to count those 30,000 mail-in ballots tomorrow. So of course it's going to be something that we keep a close eye on, guys.
Okay, Kelly, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We'll keep watching that. And again, here's where that race for 270 electoral votes stands right now at this hour. You see Joe Biden with a lead 133-115, but a number of states will be called here potentially at the top of the hour at 11 o'clock. And in terms of the local races, We've got you covered with all of those as well. All the results scrolling at the bottom of your screen tonight.
And we will be right back. Fox 59 News, your local election headquarters. Our coverage continues right after this.